regular season finale against TCU. There's Porter Moser, 1-1 in the Big 12 championship. That one win last year in the opening round against the number 2 seed Baylor Bears. So some recent history on the side of the Oklahoma Sooners.
And let's add to this. No Avery Anderson, the outstanding point guard, the senior for the Cowboys. He's out with a broken wrist, and a new starting lineup, 2 freshmen, including Otega Owe, young man from New Jersey who's really given this Sooner team a lift, and of course the outstanding point guard Los Uzan.
There's Avery Anderson, had surgery on that left wrist, has missed the last 9 games. Oklahoma State swept Oklahoma in Bedlam. They've won 6 of their last 7. The Cowboys combining for 78 points in the paint in those 2 games this season. We are underway in their white uniforms. The Cowboys control the opening tip. Here's Bryce Thompson. And it's taken away by Oklahoma. Loose ball. Rolls out of bounds, and Ray Natili says it's going to be Oklahoma State basketball.
In both wins by the Cowboys, they overwhelmed the Sooners with athleticism, particularly inside. Cisse and Boone, who come off the bench, 18 apiece in the win in Norman.
A lot of people feel like the Cowboys have the best front line in the entire Big 12.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
First shot of 3 off the mark for John Michael Wright. Cisse the rebound. And a foul called.
This young man, when healthy, is one of the best big guys, not only in this league, but on a defensive end. He's one of the best in the country. He's been saddled with injuries, Rich, but he had a dominating performance in Norman. Shot blocker and improving offense.
And he is the only Poke to start all 31 games this year for Mike Boynton. And he's off the mark on that first free throw.
You see that history there. Young man from Guinea he was a high school teammate of Precious Achua at one point, and also Kofi Coburn back in the New York area. Look about those front lines.
Tanner Groves the rebound, minus the headbands. Almost didn't recognize Tanner Groves without that, number 35 in gray.
And we can get him a job as the Mountaineer after his career is over.
There's Grant Sherfield, top scorer for the Sooners, 25 in gray. Now the freshman Owe. Trying to go inside, and a foul's on the floor. That's going to be on Caleb Asbury, his first.
When we asked Porter Moser about Owe and why he put him in the starting lineup, he said we were getting off to slow starts and we felt we needed his athletic energy, and he has really had a good last couple weeks of the season.
Yeah, started the last 8 games for Porter Moser. Jalen Hill. Here's another freshman, Uzan for 3.
Oh, this kid has had a really good season. He reminds me of Gonzaga's Andrew Nembhard, now in the NBA. 6'4" freshman out of Las Vegas.
So they hit their first 3. They were combined 9 for 37 from beyond the arc in the 2 Bedlam games this year.
But they got to do a better job on the defensive glass. Second offensive rebound they've given up.
There's Bryce Thompson, former McDonald's All-American. Inside, nice feed, nice bucket. That's Tyreek Smith.
Really good cut by Tyreek. He was lurking on the opposite baseline, snuck in, and Bryce Thompson found him.
Not much offense from Tyreek Smith, but he's strong on the defensive end.
We call him an energy big because you don't run any plays for him. He just gets things done with his energy.
Eight on the shot clock for Oklahoma. Now 4 to shoot.
Nice.
Sherfield. Tough 2, no good. Off the glass. Owe the offensive rebound.
There you
and
go.
the putback.
That's exactly why he's playing. Last 8 games, he's playing 20 minutes a game, averaging 9 points a game. Rich, early in the year, he was not getting a lot of time. Nice pass.
Another good look inside, and the beneficiary is Tyreek Smith again.
And 2 good looks by Bryce Thompson, the former McDonald's All-American who started his career at KU, but injury-filled freshman year brought him back home.
Here's Uzan.
You see how Cisse is just a wall in there. It's hard to score against him.
Sherfield short and the weak side board to Smith.
I think you got to take Tanner Groves and play him out away from the basket and spread the floor against Cisse.
Here's John Michael Wright. Too strong off the window. Offensive rebound. And Cisse a little out of his range.
Tanner Groves averaged 5 points a game against this Cowboy team, partly because he's not really going to score inside against this length unless he scores here.
Takes it strong to the 10.
Shows you what I know. But I like the idea that he started out on the perimeter where he could use that little first step.
Last game against TCU.
That's why I'm not coaching anymore.
But you're undefeated.
I'm undefeated here.
That one's kicked off. And a foul at center court by Tyreek Smith. Oklahoma out of the gates early, a 3-point lead, 16-19 to go. There's Mike Boynton, recorded his career 100th victory as a head coach against Oklahoma in Norman. That one had to be a little extra sweet for Mike.
It was a demolition, really. They led from start to finish in that game. Mike, a young guy from Brooklyn, New York. He played for both Dave Odom and Eddie Folger at South Carolina. He's had some great mentors. Mike Young, Larry Davis, Buzz Peterson.
A Brooklyn native like someone else I know.
Well, we have that in common. We've discussed pizza before, slice or square.
Here's Groves inside. Working on Caleb Boone, and Boone walled him up.
It's hard to score on Boone and Cisse. I think Tanner's going to eventually float out to the perimeter.
Asbury, no, out of bounds. It'll stay Oklahoma State basketball. 15:51 to go. Bedlam Part 3, off and running in Kansas City. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Phillips 66, proud sponsor of Big 12 basketball. And by Pizza Hut. No one out pizzas the Hut. Alongside Fran Fraschilla, Rich Hollenberg. It's not necessarily addition by subtraction, because Mike Boynton hates the fact that Avery Anderson is missing this much time. But the team has responded in some interesting parts where players had to step up with Avery Anderson out, but if he comes back, they could be a dangerous team.
But it may not happen. To me, it's a subtraction by subtraction, because Avery's a 4-year starter. You see the numbers. Now, to your point, Rich, if this was early in the year and he did come back, everybody else around him who had to play without him would have been better. But this late in the year, they really miss him. He's essentially a guy that, I remember he had a game, I think he had 30-something at West Virginia as a sophomore. I mean, this is a really good player who they really do miss.
He has resumed basketball activities, going to be evaluated on Friday. So Oklahoma State holding out hope that if they make the NCAA tournament, there's a possibility Avery Anderson could participate.
That's a good timeout right there. Mike Boynton came out of it, ran a little pick and roll, big little ball screen. He got Keelan Boone. Keelan Boone is the best rolling big man in the Big 12. You know, KJ Adams is really good in what we call the short roll. Caleb Boone, Caleb is the best at rolling all the way to the rim and catching lobs. By the way, congratulations to Keelan Boone, who had a great season this year at Pacific. And it was heartbreaking in the summer when they had to decide to split up. Keelan wanted to just, forge a new path. He had a great season. Caleb's had a really good season, although coming off a scoreless game on Saturday.
Mike Boynton has known those twins since they were high school freshmen.
That's
recruited
right.
them and offered them scholarships to Oklahoma State their sophomore years in high school. There's Sam Godwin, 10 and gray on the floor for Porter Moser. He's got it in the post. Working on Boone.
And it's
nowhere to go.
Yep, you're right. It's hard to score in there.
3 on the shot clock. Oweh forced it up. And the rebound goes to Woody Newton, the Syracuse transfer. Catch and release.
John Michael Wright, Asbury, and Thompson all averaging about 13 a game since Anderson went out. They have to make timely shots.
Blocked by Caleb Boone. With 5 on the clock, Hill back outside.
Too much time.
And you are seeing why Oklahoma State has one of the best defenses in the Big 12.
Well, you can't score inside against them, and they're not trying now. And a good job by the Cowboys to keep the ball on the perimeter.
Doug Sermon says that hit underneath the backboard. Let's take a look at that last bucket.
Yeah, Woody Newton handling the ball, the former Syracuse transfer. That looked like John Michael Wright, and Asbury hooking up. Asbury with the pass. The 2 transfers. We were in Stillwater a couple weekends ago, and they played against Kansas State and Baylor, 2 top 15 teams, and they just couldn't make timely shots. Got them, couldn't make them.
They are stingy to score on, but they struggle to score themselves, do these Oklahoma State Cowboys. They're up 1, 14-18 to go. The winner of this game will face the 2-seed Texas Longhorns tomorrow in the quarterfinals.
We'll probably say this 5 more times tonight. Obviously, both teams want to win this game, but the Cowboys have to win this game if they, according to Joe Lenardi, want to play in the NCAA tournament.
Yep. Here's Bryce Thompson. Good-looking shot from Bryce Thompson, a 2. His first 2 of the game.
Good defense by Jacob Groves. He was all over Bryce.
Bijan Cortez traveled with the basketball.
What Oklahoma State is doing right now, they've got 5 athletic guys on the floor, so they're switching at every spot. And the good news for them, and this has happened in both games, Rich, Oklahoma does not have the athleticism to beat the Cowboys off the dribble. So even guys like Boone, Newton, and Cisse are keeping guards in front of them.
There's Thompson, 1 and white. Now Boone, doubled by the Groves brothers.
He's gotten good at this.
Asbury, nice shot fake, gets it to go.
I'll tell you, Caleb Boone, when he's locked in, has become a really good passer, partly because he's become a really good scorer in the low post. And the way to guard him when he's scoring is to double team him.
An 8-0 Cowboys run has put them up 5.
See that switch out?
Groves, aggressive. Put a shoulder into Caleb Boone and still came up empty.
I think Porter Moser is going to have to go to that 5-out offense where they got Groves at the top of the key. It's called zoom offense.
Look at that pass. Folks come up empty. Sherfield inside. Groves, no good. And a frustrating start for Tanner Groves.
And I think Porter Moser wanted a foul, but I think more importantly is, you know, Tanner is not as effective against this kind of length. This is the 3rd game that this has been an issue.
Thompson inside. Boone cashes in.
This is an instant replay of what we've seen earlier in the year, and that is the bigs of the Cowboys dominating the paint.
3 points for Caleb Boone. And the lead extended to 7. Oklahoma State doubling up Oklahoma. Looking for a rare 3-game sweep in a single season.
And Mike Boynton putting 2 hands up, saying slow it down and open it up.
At its best, what does the Cowboys offense want to do?
Just, you know what, get good quality looks. They don't run anything fancy, Rich. Just don't turn it over. Get good shots because they can dominate the offensive glass.
Off the window. How about Chris Harris chipping in?
Chris Harris Jr. How about that? Strength. There's a good story about him. We'll tell you when we come back.
Oklahoma State in the midst of a 12-zip run. Field goals by 5 different pokes during that run, including the last bucket by number 2, Chris Harris Jr., and that number 2 is important. Chris Harris Jr. coming off 2 ACL surgeries to contribute this year.
Very good high school player from Dallas. Not the most famous Harris in his family. His Aunt Fran, if you follow women's college basketball, Rich, one of the great Texas Longhorns. She won state championships at Texas. She was 34-0 as a national champion, and she was on the first WNBA champion Houston Comets. So that whole family in Dallas, everybody goes to the state tournament. I think Chris told us yesterday, I think his sister's in the state tournament.
You are correct.
But great basketball family, the Harrises.
Yeah, South Garland High School. He was best friends with Tyrese Maxey, who he played high school
ball with. Yes, he played for Tyrese's dad.
Now starring with the Philadelphia Sixers.
Good to see him back on the floor. Great
Absolutely.
Kid, great smile.
Sherfield 0 for 3 now to start this contest.
Well, when you can't score inside, it means the guards of the Cowboys can put more pressure on Sherfield, and he's going to feel like he's got somebody in his back pocket all night.
There's John Michael Wright, 51 in white. High Point transfer.
Volume scorer.
Yeah. 7 on the shot clock. Thompson. Sweet touch again. Second bucket for Bryce Thompson.
He's one of those guys that's really best in the mid-range. That is exactly where he likes to get his looks.
Averaged 15 and 7.5 boards in his 2 games against Oklahoma this year. Sherfield hands off to Groves, and Groves got fouled and will go to the line. Let's take a look at our ACC bracket while we have a stoppage in play. Miami, Wake Forest, Steve Forbes taking the Demon Deacons to the quarterfinals. It'll be Duke Pitt, where Jeff Capel will face his former team in Duke. Clemson awaiting the winner of NC State and Virginia Tech, and then Virginia and North Carolina in a must-win, similar to Oklahoma State, maybe even more, because North Carolina has got to win this tournament if they have a prayer.
Oklahoma State's got 6 quad 1 wins.
Yeah.
You know, I think maybe Carolina's picked up 1 here in the tournament, but North Carolina's got to win the tournament. There's no question about it. If it wasn't Carolina blue, and they were, you know, some other school, it wouldn't even be a discussion. They have to win the ACC tournament, and I think Coach Davis knows that. Now you're talking about 2 teams out here, each with 6 quad 1 wins.
Right. 3-point attempt, no good. Not something that Oklahoma State excels at.
And I think Ray Nattilli's going to tell Tyreek Smith, we know you didn't mean anything by it, but do not bounce the ball in the air like that. Tyreek Smith, young man from Baton Rouge, transferred from Texas Tech, and Mike Boynton loves his energy.
Here's Cisse from close range, got it to go.
Yep, like I said, more of what we saw in the first 2 games. And when Cisse is healthy, he has really improved his offense. And see, this is where I like Tanner Groves right now. They can play 5 out here and take Cisse away from the basket.
His brother Jacob, 34 in gray. Sherfield got a clean look, too strong. Rebound to Tyreek Smith.
Oh, that's what you call a rebound out of your area right there.
And Chris Harris Jr. is going to hobble off the floor.
Yep, hate to see that.
Take a look at what happened there. Stop short.
Yep.
Now he's going to go to the end of the bench and get checked out by the trainer, Kevin Blaski. Right. And here comes Milos Uzan.
Tough shot, and right there, Cisse didn't block it, but he certainly challenged it. Good effort by Uzan, but that is a big joker to score over. Tyreek Smith, man, he's a walking screen.
Thompson again. Sweet stroke from Bryce Thompson.
Well, that's his real estate. You know, you talk about analytics and it's not a good shot. Well, it is for some people. Mikal Bridges, by the way, the Brooklyn Nets, is living in the mid-range right now. I don't know if you noticed.
8 minutes without a field goal for Oklahoma. Tanner Groves
Ain't
working
happening.
overtime and still coming up empty.
It's tough. Tanner's a good player, but Cisse's an elite defender.
That one off the mark. Contested three. Thompson got it back.
Boy, Tyreek Smith has done some great dirty work. That was a terrific tip out over his head.
Oklahoma State won both games against the Sooners by double digits. They're up 14 in this one. 8 minutes to go in the first half. And buckets are tough to come by, Fran.
It's hard. This is very similar to the first two meetings.
Jacob Groves for three.
That's important. Cowboys are going to have to probably win this game from behind the arc.
Jacob came in 7 for his last 11 from three-point range in his last 3 games. Got his first one tonight. John Michael Wright went right up against Tanner Groves and came up empty.
That's it. Still like that look. I think they'll have more success out there. Listen, if they don't make shots, they're not winning. So if they're going to give you the 3 ball, you have to shoot it because you're not going to score easily inside.
Wholesale substitution set to come in on the next whistle for both clubs.
See if Bryce Thompson can go to work on Groves. He falls down.
Look at that effort.
Nice.
Ortega Oweh and Grant Sherfield at the other end.
Easiest basket of the night because of hustle by Oweh.
Grant Sherfield with his first 2, and he had to wait 13 minutes to get that first bucket. Timeout, Mike Boynton in Oklahoma State.
Well, one way to get back in this game is give it all you got. And this freshman, Ortega Oweh, that's exactly why he's in the starting lineup.
For over 131 years, the University of Oklahoma has been making an impact. It is a legacy of excellence, a legacy defined by courage and determination, a legacy of champions, both on and off the field. And we're not done yet. From big wins to bigger discoveries, we're advancing Oklahoma, the nation, and the world. Because at the University of Oklahoma, we change lives.
Your glasses say a lot about you, so you want frames that fit your face, your style, and your budget. Book your eye exam today. Get 2 pairs of glasses for $95 plus a free eye exam and lens upgrade. Find your perfect fit at My Eye Lab.
All right, Rich, I'm not usually a shot guy because I'm not that smart and I can't see a lot of things clearly, but I do know this. If you're watching this, look in the paint, 3 for 10. That's the story of Oklahoma's offense so far in this game, and it's a very simple reason. The Cowboys have the best length defensively in the Big 12, and they throw Cisse, Boone, and Smith at you, and Porter Moser's got to figure out something because this is a recurring theme in the first 3 games.
Absolutely. Right now, Oklahoma State, 12-6 points in the paint.
And Tyreek Smith gets a blow. He already has 8 rebounds. The young man we told you about, the transfer from Texas Tech.
Yeah, ties a career high already, and he's done it in just 9 minutes.
And it looks like Porter Moser's going to kind of change the tempo here with a little 2-3 zone.
Trying to force the Cowboys to shoot from the outside.
Yeah, but I also think it puts more bodies inside on the glass. You know, Godwin is a really active player in the middle of that zone.
And Tanner Groves on the bench right now for Porter Moser.
There's a turnover.
Here's Cortez leading the break for the Sooners. Uzan, too strong. Weak side rebound, Caleb Asbury.
Now they showed zone, they went man. I think they're going back man.
Woody Newton for 3. Rookie against a veteran, the freshman Uzan.
Nice.
With 7 to shoot. Hill gets challenged and fouled. Going to need Jalen Hill too, especially with Sherfield and Tanner Groves on the bench.
Yeah,
right now.
very much so. Jalen Hill's much improved over his career, and certainly can put points on the board. Most memorably 26 against Alabama in that win in Norman.
And he misses the first. We've got you covered on Selection Sunday. It all starts at noon Eastern on ESPN. College Basketball Live gets the day ready at 6 Eastern. Reese and the guys look at the men's field of 68 as the brackets are announced, followed by bracketology with breakdowns of each region. Then at 8 Eastern, the women's field represented when that field is revealed. And at 10 Eastern, even more coverage of both brackets. Everything also streaming live on the ESPN app. So here is what is at stake. Sometimes, Fran, it's just simple.
Yeah.
Win and Oklahoma State is in, lose and they are off the bubble and out of the field. So says our resident bracketologist, Joe Lenardi. Here's Hill in the open court. Challenged, missed it, and Oklahoma State comes away with it.
He babied it. You can't baby it. Jalen should have taken that right to the rim and tried to dunk on the defender. Too much babying. Sooners are actually lucky to be down only 8, because the Cowboys have not been able to extend this lead because of their inability to make shots.
Cortez, wide open, knocks down the 3.
Great look. Good job by Uzan, point guard who saw the roller to the rim. It sucked in the defense, and he found the shooter behind the defense on the opposite side.
Oklahoma not going away, as you would imagine. A 9-0 run, and they're right back in it, down 5. John Michael Wright. Now a chance to make it a 1-possession ball game. Cortez.
Nice. Look at that ball movement.
Inside out. Back-to-back threes from Bijan Cortez.
I don't think you could move the ball any better than that. That's how you get a defense on roller skates right there. All those closeouts just gave the opportunity to Sooners to get a good shot.
Here's Wright. Off the window. Stops the bleeding. That stopped a 12-0 Sooners run. Amazing what this Oklahoma team has done without Grant Sherfield or Tanner Groves on the floor. 7 to shoot. Cortez.
I think it fell off his hand.
Yeah.
It slipped off his hand. Bijan's played well. He took a 2-game leave of absence to kind of clear his mind, but he's come back and he's sharp.
Newton again for 3, way off. Now Groves, Sherfield, and Otega Owe set to check back in for Porter Moser on the next whistle. Godwin, no. And it's going to stay Oklahoma basketball.
Look, Sooners not going away. Slow start for them, but the ball is starting to sing a little bit. And watch this. This is what we mean by putting a defense on roller skates. Where is he? Where's the ball? Can't find it. Somebody's open.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Principal. When you take care of your team, they take care of business. Well, Oklahoma State was taking care of business against Oklahoma, but all of a sudden, Fran, just like you were telling us earlier, the Sooners needed to start knocking down shots from the outside, and lately they have.
That's right. You know, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and trying to get a different result. They were not scoring in the paint, and they're going to have to just throw caution to the wind tonight and live on the three-point line to the extent that if they make some, they're right back in this game. That's what they've done.
Only 7 made field goals by Oklahoma, and there's 2:43 to go in the half. but 4 of those have come beyond the arc. Keep in mind, in the 2 regular season games between these 2 teams, Oklahoma cashed in on a grand total of 9 3-point field goals. They might have to get to that number and beyond tonight.
I think so.
Tanner Groves, Grant Sherfield, Otega Owe on the floor now for Porter Moser.
A lot of switching by those white shirts, keeping the ball in front if they can. There's
Blocked.
that. Yep.
By Cisse, one of the best in the nation at that, 25th as a matter of fact in blocks per game.
Now that's the dilemma. I used to love having my teams go right at a shot blocker, but you have to go at him and through his chest. Oklahoma is babying that ball up there, hoping for a different result, and that's not happening. Back to the zone now for the Sooners. Now they show it and go man. Let's see if they stay in zone. Out there in man.
Set the screen, it wasn't used. Now right. 5 to shoot. Thompson does and knocks it down again. Good first half for Bryce Thompson, 8 points.
Where's he operating in? He's operating in that mid-range. You're going to tell him not to shoot a mid-range shot because it's analytically not effective?
He's shooting 52% from the field his last 3. I would say that's effective.
It's effective. For him it is.
Sherfield hesitated and it rolls off. Here's Thompson. He's 4 of 6 from the field. Now 4 of 7. That was a tough shot. Sherfield drives. It rolls off, and Otega Owe can't get it back.
Hard to score inside. It's a good 2-for-1 situation here. You've got to shoot this ball by about 42, but not earlier.
Groves comes away with it.
All right, now see, I think Porter Moser might have thinking about go 2-for-1, but it's got to go before 42 if you want to get 2 possessions back. Shoot it.
Groves does. Short on the 3.
Taking that chance, getting 2 possessions for Cowboys 1 didn't work.
Now about 12-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock. Here's Smith. Good first half from him, but a little out of his range. Shot clock is off. 20 seconds to go in the first half. Oklahoma's season low and a half is 22 points. They're stuck on 20 now.
All things considered, they're in this game, and a basket here would give them a big boost. Let's see if they come running double Sherfield.
2 seconds. 1. Sherfield gets it off, and it's off to the right. The lowest scoring half of the season for the Sooners, but they're only down 6. Coming up, Dallin Coughlin, Tom Crean and Steve Wojciechowski will catch you up with the All-State halftime report. They'll talk about Jim Boeheim ending his reign at Syracuse, Pitt moving on in the ACC tournament. Oklahoma State has a 6-point lead over Oklahoma. The right to play number 2 Texas at stake. The All-State halftime report up next. Oklahoma. Back inside the T-Mobile Center, courtside alongside Fran Fraschilla. I'm Rich Hollenberg. So we knew coming in that Oklahoma State had to win this game if they wanted to keep their NCAA tournament hopes alive. How have they done the first 20 minutes?
Well, they should have a bigger lead, quite honestly. They've done a great job defensively. It's hard for the Sooners to score inside, but they've got to be more efficient offensively. And this is what we talked about, Rich. This is an excellent defensive team, particularly the way they defend the rim. And Oklahoma just doesn't have a way of scoring easily. They are 3 of 21 from inside the arc, having more success outside the arc. Now, it's not just easy to get these looks. That was in transition, but good ball movement. They need more of that, and they just got to make shots. And I'm not trying to state the obvious, but they're getting good looks. They got to make a few more. For the Cowboys, they have to be more efficient offensively. They should have a bigger lead right now.
They've outscored the Sooners 12-6 points in the paint and have an 18-10 rebounding edge. The Cowboys were led by Bryce Thompson, 4 for 7 from the field, 8 points, 3 assists. And it'll be Oklahoma who controls the first possession of the second half. Again, if you're just joining us, Joe Lenardi's latest iteration of bracketology says if Oklahoma State wins this game, they are off the bubble and in the field of 68. If they lose this game, it's a different story. They are off the bubble and out looking in.
Well, Joe's right much of the time, if not most of the time. And if you told Mike Boynton that before the game, he wouldn't even think twice. It's all about 40 minutes of basketball. Now it's down to 20.
Sherfield, tough two, Cisse the rebound.
Yep, good solid defense that time by John Michael Wright. Sherfield's been slow to get going.
Here's Asbury, had 7 threes in the regular season finale, and the basketball gods shine down on Caleb Asbury with that one.
He will take that. Caleb Asbury, he's a career 37% three-point shooter, doing that at Texas State.
That one out of bounds.
Well, we've seen some high arcs tonight, but this one is high arc off the rim and a friendly roll.
So the lead extended to 9 with the first 3 of the night for Caleb Asbury. Three's hard to come by for the Pokes. Just their second one tonight. Seven to shoot. Playing up the line is Otega Owe out of bounds. It'll stay Oklahoma State basketball, but just 3.5 left on the shot clock.
And they're going to inbound this ball from midcourt. As long as they get it in cleanly, they've got 4 dribbles to do something with it. Don't have to just jack it. There you go. Oh, no.
Asbury,
no.
the 30-footer.
He's got to have a better clock in his head. He catches that ball with 3. He's got 3 dribbles.
The 2 lowest scoring teams in the Big 12 combined for 46 first half points. Owe, spin.
Whoa.
Window.
And that has not been easy tonight to score over Cisse, but Owe is he is a live wire. Of course, it runs in the family too. His older brother playing for the Baltimore Ravens.
That shot way off the mark for Tyreek Smith. Here comes the freshman Uzan up the floor. Not many power conference schools start 2 freshmen like Porter Moser does.
Both of them have improved throughout the year.
Sherfield tried to create his own shot, and Cisse clears. Now Wright, after a lot of dribbling, came up empty on that jumper. And Sherfield wants to push. Here's Uzan for 3. Transition buckets.
Good look by Sherfield. Everybody thought he was going to shoot that ball, but it one more dribble sucked the defense in, and the freshman Uzan, you talk about precocious. This is a kid that has gotten better and better with every start.
Had 20 on the road in Manhattan against Kansas State. That's saying something.
I think he had a similar game against Kansas.
Yep. Asbury again. Don't let him get cooking.
Well, he can do that. It's a young man from the Austin area. Was not highly recruited at all. Had to go to junior college.
Here's Uzan off the dribble. And Ray Natili calls the foul on Bryce Thompson.
Well, things are heating up, Rich. Take a look. Watch the little dribble drive by Sherfield. That opens up Uzan. And then Caleb Asbury, who played his junior college basketball for Billy Clyde Gillespie, former Texas A&M coach, before going to Texas State and then trying to figure out whether he could play at the big time. And he certainly has this year.
In their regular season finale at Texas Tech, 24 points, 7 for 12 from 3-point range. Asbury's got 2 threes in this second half already, and he has the ball now. 4 minutes gone by in the second half. Poked away by Owe. And we've reached our first media timeout of this second half. Oklahoma State's lead is 7 over their Bedlam Series rival, Oklahoma Sooners. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Principal. When you take care of your team, they take care of business. Back here at the T-Mobile Center in Kansas City, round 1 of the Phillips 66 Big 12 Championship, and we are treated to some A-level basketball, but some A-level food as well. Every one of the 10 teams has brought one signature food item from their campus. On this side right here, we have Oklahoma State's entry. That's Pistol Pete's fried corn.
Don't put your finger in.
And right next to it is the Stormin' from Norman tacos. Which one would you prefer, my friend?
Man, I cannot make a decision between the Cowboys and the Sooners.
I'm telling you which one I'm choosing, though, by grabbing my fork. I'm going for that fried corn.
You go for that. I'll get the Tums.
The second we get it.
I'll get the Tums, because this is a 10-pound weekend for me.
Brian, move that camera away, because I'm not doing it live on camera. No dice on that. As we resume action, Oklahoma State with a 7-point lead. They led by 6 at the break. They've extended that lead by 1 with 15:54 to go. Now some full court pressure by the Pokes, handled by Oklahoma. It's win and in as far as the NCAA tournament goes for the Oklahoma State Cowboys, who came in squarely on the bubble, according to Joe Lunardi. They were among the first 4 out coming into this game, but he says if they beat the Sooners, they're off the bubble and in the field. And a shot clock violation. Fairly typical, one of the best defenses in the nation.
Well, and you know, the story of this game, as we've said already, it's hard to score inside against this defense, and Tanner Groves is a very good player, there's no question, but he is struggling right now. It's like trying to run into an 8-man line, you know, it's just not easy.
Here's Smith with the ball, dribble handoff to John Michael Wright.
Yes, they had Thompson, but it was a good switch out by the Sooners.
7 to shoot.
Boone's got to go. Good double team, good pass, and a better defensive play
by Jalen Hill.
That's, you talk about adjusting. Good offense, good defense, good offense, good defense.
And then Caleb Boone fouls Jalen Hill and gives him a little grin after that one.
Well, it's not that you can't score inside against these guys, but if you're going to go inside, you have to go through them and make them foul you.
Jalen Hill?
Yeah, when you go through a shot blocker's chest, Rich, you eliminate his ability to leave his feet. But if you try to go up there and you know, like a running hook or the things we've seen in the first half, double pumping, that's not going to fly against length.
Yeah, not in this league.
Well, really, that's just, you know, shot blockers block shots for a reason.
Right.
And the way you eliminate their verticality is to go right through them.
Just 3 points for Jalen Hill, an honorable mention all Big 12 selection. And now Chris Harris Jr. back on the floor. That's good to see after he hobbled off earlier in the first half.
And he gave Mike Boynton good effort.
Amazing that these Sooners are down just 5, and their 2 top scorers, Grant Sherfield and Tanner Groves, are combined 2 for 18.
Wow, wow. And it's been the young guys that provided the energy today.
Asbury, 3, in and out. He's looking to get on a hot streak.
What a play by Tyreek Smith. He's going to get rewarded right here.
Oh, he went for the dunk on Sam Godwin, and Godwin commits the foul.
And that's a perfect example of how you try to score against a shot blocker inside. You go through them, but that play started because the incredible hustle of Tyreek Smith, Rich, who I think in the first half had 8 rebounds. Good effort by Godwin to come over.
Look at that. Tyreek Smith knocks down the free throw. 64% on the season. He's got 5 points and 10 boards already.
Now, right now, the Sooners are going to go small with Hill and Groves on that front line. And again, this may be where they try to play 5 out.
Uzan, stop and go. Good hands by Smith, knocking it away.
Smith's done a terrific job defensively tonight and on the glass.
Part of the reason Mike Boynton inserted him into the starting lineup.
Yep. You love a guy that you don't have to run plays for, but he just plays with energy.
Step back, bad shot by Thompson. A rare one tonight. Hill, pinned by Smith.
Tyreek Smith's been a difference maker so far.
Asbury high off the window and it rolls off. Oklahoma State 11th in the nation in block percentage. And we've seen a few glorious ones tonight.
Well, give the Sooners credit. They're still coming at him. But see, you can't try to drive away from that shot blocker. You got to take it into his chest. Because when you don't, you can see how easily Tyreek Smith gets off the floor. As he's going to get a rest. Newton back in and Cisse. Pretty impressive front line length.
Yeah. So Smith gets a breather. As you mentioned, Caleb Asbury to the bench as well. He's saddled with 3 fouls with 13:36 to go. And Woody Newton just checked in, and we'll get the foul on that one as Jalen Hill will go back to the line.
Well, I'll tell you, the Sooners, we've chronicled their poor shooting, but they are in this game. And it's primarily because the Cowboys have been equally inept on the offensive end.
You touched on this earlier, Fran. Quite frankly, both of the regular season games were not close. It was a 16-point advantage for Oklahoma State first time around. They won by 10 in the second game. But this one's been nip and tuck most of the way.
And the one in Norman, Rich, it was 10, but it was never, ever close. It was from the start. This young man, Jalen Hill's had a great 4 years. He'll probably test the waters a little bit with NBA. Maybe he'll look around with NIL stuff, but I'd love to see him come back and finish what he started at Oklahoma. He's the last player that Lon Kruger recruited. And the Vegas connection's been pretty good now with Uzan and Hill.
Here's Newton. Chris Harris. Looked good off his hand.
Chris is not an accurate shooter, but it did look good.
That ball goes out of bounds. Big 12 now on ESPN Plus, a must-have for Big 12 fans with the baseball and softball seasons in full swing. More than 200 games available along with the early rounds of both conference tournaments. Plus, it's the home for over 600 live events and original content. If you're a Big 12 fan, you gotta have it. Sign up today at espnplus.com/Big12now. Coming up on 7 minutes gone by in the second half. Oklahoma hanging around, looking for the upset. Bedlam Part 3. If Oklahoma State wins, Joe Lunardi says they are in the field of 68, and they'll play Texas in the quarterfinals. Foul on 34 in gray, Jacob Groves.
You know what's impressed me tonight? Watching Musa Cisse. He's healthy, which is a great sign for this team because he missed much of January. I think a sprained ankle against West Virginia, right? And what I love about his defensive effort is he's not in foul trouble. He does not leave his feet until you leave your feet. And he plays vertically, and he is 7'1".
I remember you and I did a game in Memphis when he was a freshman.
Yes.
And you could see the potential there with the Tigers.
He just didn't look, he didn't play with a smile on his face back then. He really didn't. Penny Hardaway's had a lot of success developing some of those guys, but it wasn't working out. They won the NIT that year and the COVID year, and he wound up transferring to Oklahoma State. There's a lot of pressure on him to be a one-and-done guy, and he said this week in the paper, he said, I'm just running my own race. Just want to keep getting better.
It's refreshing to hear.
Yeah.
That was an air ball corralled by Groves.
It's a great challenge by Sherfield.
A chance to make it a one-possession ball game again. Sherfield's going to try it. Short on the three. He has one field goal tonight, does Grant Sherfield. Hill in and out on three. And we're going the other way.
Well, the Sooner bench did not like that call, but Ray Natili was adamant that it was a push in the back. And I'll tell you the other thing about, I'm having flashbacks because one of the hardest things to do during this week is play the last game of the day. Now, there's not 4 today, there's only 2. But, you know, it's late. You know, these guys have been sitting around all day. They get lethargic, and it's, to me, it's something you see a lot during championship week.
You're going to be teed up early tomorrow, partner.
I'll be
Baylor,
ready.
Iowa State at 11:30 Central
This is
Time.
the rematch of what we saw in Waco. That outstanding performance by the Cyclones.
Baylor and Iowa State, a quarterfinal matchup.
Yep.
Shows you how good this league is. 5 on the shot clock. Thompson spins, can't hit. Offensive rebound, and the two-hand flush by Musa Cisse.
Well, he's healthy. And just love to see him back on the court. Really good young man.
Mike Boynton imploring his pokes to use that offensive energy on the defensive end.
Let's see, Groves is going to go at Cisse again.
Lots of shoulders, and Tanner Groves knocks it down.
That was, you know, that reminded me of, that's Kevin McHale right there. Kevin used to take that dribble to the middle of the lane and then put his shoulder into you and shoot the jump hook.
Just the second field goal for Tanner Groves. Hard earned. And an offensive foul, says Brett Smith. We're going the other way. Breaking news out of Lubbock, Texas. Mark Adams has stepped down as head coach of the Red Raiders. We'll have more when we come back. Alongside Fran Fraschilla, Rich Hollenberg on hand for the Big 12 Championship. Fran, earlier tonight we saw Texas Tech lose to West Virginia in the first game of this tournament, and Corey Williams was the head coach because Mark Adams was suspended due to some insensitive comments. Earlier tonight, after that loss, it was announced that Mark Adams has stepped down as head coach of Texas Tech. Take us through what you think the aftermath could be in Lubbock.
Well, I'm sure Kirby Holcott's got a list of candidates. I'm sure he's been thinking about it since he made this move over the weekend to suspend Mark Adams. I will say this. In the last 5 or 6 years, Texas Tech has become a terrific basketball job. You and I know it because we see it. It's got a great fan base, a great arena. They have one of the best practice facilities in the country. They're in the best league in the country. And it's very unfortunate because I don't know all the details, but I'm sure the decision was made in conjunction with Mark Adams. He said that he wants to do what's in the best interest of his alma mater. I think they're going to move forward quickly. I think this is not going to linger long. I believe they will find a great head coach that fits the South Plains and takes advantage of all the incredible resources that Texas Tech now has in basketball, because it's considerable, and the proof's in the pudding over the last 5 years. You go to the Sweet 16, the final game, the championship game, etc. I think this is going to open up an opportunity for somebody to do a great job there.
1 on the shot clock. And a foul is called offensive. That's going to go on Otega Owe.
Oklahoma State is down to 10 minutes to hold on to this lead, to nearly assure themselves to be the 8th Big 12 team in the NCAA tournament Sunday night. A lot at stake, and the Sooners, of course, still hanging around.
And a little extra chip on the shoulder for Mike Boynton and company. It's easy to forget that last year they weren't even playing in the postseason. They were on a suspension and did not even appear at the Big 12 tournament. Last year there was only one Wednesday night game.
Right, and that decision, that chip on that shoulder stuff, that's done like hours ago. Once the game starts, it's all about defending and making shots on the other end.
Five to shoot. 10 minutes to go in the half. Nearly stolen away. Oh, and that one goes. And John Michael Wright looks up to the heavens to thank the basketball gods for that one.
Well, just remember that shot and when it took place and what the score was, because I don't want to say that was luck. Let's just say a good fortune right there with a lot at stake.
Good shot fake by Groves, and he has a chance at a three-point play.
Good reaction right here. He knows the shot clock's running down. He just gets a good look at it. And then what will we say about Tanner Groves? Play from the outside in. Take a look. Watch him drive Cisse now off the shot fake. And Rich, that's a lot easier when Cisse is on the three-point line than when he's lurking in the paint.
Tanner Groves completes the three-point play.
Well, that pretty move by Groves pretty much nullifies the big three on the other end.
So Tanner Groves, despite the struggles, 3 for 10 from the field, 8.7 rebounds tonight. Thompson, pocket pass, and Cisse cashes in again.
And I'll tell you, difficult play for Cisse. Great catch. He had to catch that ball by his hamstrings, which are a lot higher than yours and mine, by the way.
Sure are.
And he bobbled it and still came up with a big steal.
Here's the turnover. And the push by Wright gets it to go. John Michael Wright in double digits. The only player in this game in double digits. And Oklahoma State's extended their lead to 9 with 8:58 to go. (42-33), Oklahoma State leads with 8:58 to go. Moussa Cisse having himself a decent night.
Yeah, this is not how you throw a pocket pass. Like, don't hit the guy in the pocket exactly, but a great catch by Cisse. That kid's 7'1", had to go down and reach for it, came up with it. You know, it seems like a quiet night, 6 points, 9 rebounds, 1 block. But that 1 block, I'm telling you, he's challenged about 7 or 8 more at the rim. And again, injured early in the league. That's the crazy thing about this league. Mike Miles misses 6 games. TCU struggles. This Oklahoma State team loses Avery Anderson for the end of the season. They lose this guy for the month of January. Texas Tech got hit hard with injuries. If those injuries hadn't happened, Rich, this league would be even crazier, because you'd have even more parity than we've already had in a year where the coaches agree this might be the most balanced league in the history of the Big 12.
And that's why, with 8:42 to go in this game and Oklahoma State on top, they could be the 8th team in the field. That's what Joe Lunardi is projecting. If Oklahoma State wins, they would be team number 8 out of the Big 12 to make it in. They're right now considered last or first 4 out, but a win and they're in. Sherfield, no.
And both Oklahoma State and Oklahoma have more quad 1 wins than Indiana, Rutgers, Arkansas, Illinois, Auburn, Creighton, USC, Duke, Miami. You get the picture.
Yeah. As Porter Moser was telling us, unfortunately, along with those 6 quad 1 wins, they have 12 quad 1 losses.
Exactly.
That one blocked by Groves. 3 to shoot. Cisse ambushed from behind, but the foul's going to go on Dijon Cortez. 8:03 to go. Let's get a quick update on the ACC tournament bracket played in Greensboro, North Carolina. Virginia and UNC will be tipping off tomorrow at 7 Eastern. Duke and Pitt. Miami and Wake. That's going to start the day over on ESPN2, and awaiting the winner of NC State to see if they could advance to the quarterfinals to take on Clemson. It's kind of like an upside-down year in the
It really
ACC
is.
this year.
Yep, absolutely. Pittsburgh's had an outstanding year. Miami's been a constant.
Yeah.
You know, Miami and Virginia. We always think of Duke and Carolina, and rightfully so. But Miami and Virginia, last couple of years have been outstanding. Miami went to the Elite Eight a year ago. And now they've added Nigel Pack, the former K-State Wildcat.
Am I right that Kansas beat Miami?
They did
in the Elite Eight.
Yep.
Go to the Final Four.
Yep. Terrific backcourt Miami has. Pack and Isaiah Wong.
7:48 to go. Musa Cisse and the Pokes up by 10.
At the power 24 hours and that's all set.
The Norse are going back to the NCAA tournament.
Absolute domination for Oral Roberts.
Raging Cajuns are going to the big dance.
Once again, the Gonzaga Bulldogs, WCC tournament champions.
March is here.
This time of year, if you're a basketball fan, Champ Week rolls on. Here's a look at the Pac-12 men's tournament presented by New York Life, UCLA, Colorado, Oregon, Washington State, USC awaiting the winner of Arizona State and Oregon State, and Arizona will face the winner of either Utah or Stanford. Friend, way back in the day, you were coaching Manhattan and you ruled the 5 boroughs, but you were a mid-major coach who made it to the NCAA tournament, and you got to experience what these coaches are experiencing now. What was that emotion like? What was that feeling like?
It was, especially when you win it this week, because you have 4, 5, 6 days until Selection Sunday. And Rich, it's the greatest feeling in the world. You're doing radio interviews from Seattle to Miami. People want to know about your team and all these coaches that are enjoying it. My friend Bob Ritchie down at Furman, you know, FDU's going to the tournament, right. Tobin Anderson. It's an incredible feeling for the players and coaches. It really is.
A couple of Big 12 ties too. Northern Kentucky, Darren Horn, former Texas assistant.
That's right.
Taking the Norse dancing, and Oral Roberts, a dominant season in the Summit League, and they're coached by a Scott Drew coaching tree disciple.
Funny you say that. Scott Drew's assistants, by and large, have done an amazing job. Jerome Tang, coach of the year in this league. Grant McCaslin at North Texas, they're still playing. And of course, Oral Roberts last night blowing out North Dakota State. They went 21-0 in league. And I think they got their 30th win last night, ORU. Max Hayes missed, the outstanding guard. I would not want to play Charleston or Oral Roberts. Those are two teams that I think are going to have a chance to make a lot of noise. Of course, ORU's already been to a Sweet 16 with the Paul Mills.
A couple of years ago with Kevin O'Banner.
Yeah.
Now with the Texas Tech Red Raiders.
And Matt Gaisman is still there.
3 on the shot clock.
Sooners have plenty of time. They just have to get some good looks, and obviously the ball has to fall.
Away. Short. A lot of short shots tonight. Credit the Oklahoma State defense. And a good offensive rebound by Tanner Gross, who's come alive a little bit.
Yes, he has. And don't forget, Cisse's out right now taking a break, so he doesn't have to see that length. But nice job by Tanner on the weak side, where Sherfield shot it from. If it doesn't go in, it's usually going to bounce to the other side 70% of the time. It's exactly where Gross parked himself.
Free throw is good.
And speaking of NCAA tournament runs, remember it was the game against Kansas when he and his brother, I think, combined for 48, if I'm not mistaken. And that was the eye-opener for him to get, and his brother, get a chance to transfer to a high major.
Right, with Eastern Washington.
Yep.
Yeah, Tanner had 35 against KU in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah. Good defense by
Walled up, Hughes.
Yes, he sure did. He's a 6'4" point guard, and he really did a good job of throwing his hands back. Watch this. This is textbook here. He's riding, but watch him throw his hands back. Really nicely done. Instead of coming forward and breaking that plane of verticality. Very savvy young guy. You know, this is a young team. There's some really good young players out here. And Coach Moser's got 2 top 75 players coming in. And they got a bright future. You know the biggest thing right now, Rich, with all these Big 12 schools? Honestly, transfer portal.
Yeah.
It's the way of the world right now. It's the new normal. You got 6 guys back. You got 3 freshmen coming in. That's 9. You better go get 4 transfers. And they better be the right transfers. We saw it with Texas Tech last year with Adonis Arms and Davion Warren, Bryson Williams. I thought, you know, TJ Otzelberger's done a terrific job in the transfer portal.
He has a great recruiting class coming in too.
He sure does, yep. Omaha Baloo, remember that name. Top 10 ESPN players in the country, McDonald's All-American, an immigrant from South Sudan, was born in Omaha, hence the name. Family moved to Des Moines, and he grew up an Iowa State fan. A monster. Good.
Hill.
Nice. Good execution right there. When a team shows hard on pick and roll, you slip the screen, and that's exactly the way Jalen Hill read that.
34 minutes into the game, that's the first field goal for Jalen Hill. Oklahoma State has led virtually throughout this contest. If they win, they're in the tournament, says Joe Lunardi. But Oklahoma has other ideas.
Yeah, a lot of basketball left. This is good. Now watch Hill. He's going to set a screen and slip. And when he slips, he catches Bryce Thompson thinking he's going to have to help on a pick and roll. And that's what we call a ghost screen. And we call it a ghost screen because we want the screener to disappear.
Milos Uzan touches the front and back part of the rim and then rolls off. So this is our last game together this season, partner. I wanted to ask you this question before we got out of here.
Yeah.
There's a big conversation point about the rough and tumble Big 12, and will that help these teams in the NCAA tournament, or will it hurt them?
It can go both ways, Rich. I've seen it go both ways. The league can wear you out. On the other hand, if you keep your team fresh, you know, Scott Drew's team, when they won it all, they lost to Oklahoma State in the semis. They had an extra day off. I just think all these coaches have said to us, we can't wait to play somebody else.
There's another three by Caleb Asbury, his 3rd triple of the second half, and he has 11. I remember one Big 12 coach telling me that they want to win the conference tournament, but if they're going to lose, they'd rather lose in the semifinals.
Yeah, well, you know, and you know, Bill Self, you probably have to give him true serum because Bill doesn't like to lose anything. But I think there's been times where Bill Self, when they did get beat, felt like it might have helped them going into the NCAA tournament. And I think a lot of coaches feel that way. But they're too competitive to want to lose.
Right.
Oh, good one-hand pass.
5 on the shot clock. Thompson rises up and knocks it down.
He might as well just rent or buy. Get a mortgage, my man, because you need to buy a house in that lane, because that's where you live.
12 points, 5 dimes for Bryce Thompson tonight. And Groves was heading back the other way, frustrated, but Oklahoma got the ball back.
Oh boy. Let's hope this is a cramp.
That's 51 in white. John Michael Wright down on the floor. He has 10 points tonight. One of 3 Cowboys in double digits. So as they take a look at John Michael Wright, we'll take a timeout ourselves. 4:23, we'll be back right after this. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Phillips 66, proud sponsor of Big 12 basketball. Alongside Fran Fraschilla, I'm Rich Hollenberg. And Fran, we've both spent a lot of time in Stillwater, Oklahoma. I think most people there would recognize the fact that as much as they love Mike Boynton, he might not be the best basketball coach in that household. As a matter of fact, Mike was just telling us yesterday that his lovely wife, Jenny, just coached his son Ace's team to a 10-year-old championship just the other day. So that's Jenny second in from the left with the black jacket, and Ace is the stud player on that team right in the middle. And of course, they turned around and made the drive from Stillwater, and they're here cheering on their dad right now.
They know they're on TV.
And they know they're on TV.
They can see the monitor. But let me just tell you a little something there, Rich. I'm going to one-up you. Ace is actually a better baseball player than he is a basketball player.
Yeah, three-sport star, plays football also. You notice he's got a little scrape on the cheek there.
Now, where his dad grew up, there wasn't a lot of grass, so I don't know how much baseball Mike played.
Right, the asphalt jungle that is Brooklyn, New York.
Bishop Lachlan High School, and then on to South Carolina.
Yeah.
And right now, if you're the Cowboys, utilize clock, but don't ice it completely. He's going to shoot it.
Asbury, short.
And he got pushed. Good effort. He knew it was going to be short. I love that. He shot that ball with the clock going down, and then he immediately raced for it, and the freshman fouled him. Good heads-up play by Caleb Asbury, a young man from Pflugerville, Texas, also the home of Dylan DeSue, who we'll see tomorrow, and he may go up against a fellow Austin suburban native. Not recruited, no Division I offers, kind of a chip on his shoulder. Had a couple really good seasons at Texas State, decided he wanted to play at a higher level.
Yeah, he started in place of Avery Anderson when Avery went down 9 games ago, and all he's done is average 13 plus a game since.
And it's funny you say that, because all 3 guards in the backcourt, right? You know, John Michael Wright, Bryce Thompson, Caleb Asbury, all averaging 13 in place of a guy that was hard to replace, and they've done a good job.
And just to note, we went to break seeing John Michael Wright on the floor nursing what looked like it might just be a cramp. Well, one of the first people out there, you know the trainer's going to go out there. Avery Anderson was out there. Talk about a great teammate.
Well, he's also been with the trainers quite a bit lately. Come on.
Right.
He's maybe interning. We don't know it. Good pressure. Look at Smith.
Using.
Yeah.
Oklahoma has nowhere to go on the interior. Tap back by Jacob Groves.
Watch him close on every shot.
In the corner, around and out.
I want to tell you, my underrated MVP tonight is Tyreek Smith. He's how many rebounds does he have
12 now?
He's got 12. He's been all over the place.
Now Oklahoma State judicious on offense. The time is their friend. Thompson lost it. And a turnover by Oklahoma State.
Brett Smith said Jalen Hill double dribbled.
Seems like every time Porter Moser's club has a chance to get close, Oklahoma State has a way to extend.
We said this early, Rich. This is an absolute duplication of the first 2 games. Actually, in the first game in Stillwater, the Sooners led at the half. But in the last, now I'm not a math major, so 60 minutes plus what, 37? The last 97 minutes, it has been all Oklahoma State. They're just more athletic right now. And it's part of the challenge for Porter Moser as he recruits and develops some of these young guys.
Thompson, no.
Look at Smith.
Yes.
Look at Smith. How about this guy? I could coach this guy. Oh, my goodness.
Largest lead of the night now for the Cowboys. A 9-0 run. And nothing coming easy for Oklahoma. And the frustration is etched all over their faces.
If Joey Lenardi is correct, then the Cowboys are 2.5 minutes away from being the 8th team of 10 in the NCAA tournament from the Big 12. I thought West Virginia was terrific tonight. This team played great defense all night. Woody's got to go.
2 to shoot. He does. And it's off. Look at the effort.
That's my guy. That's Mike Boynton's guy.
Under 2 minutes to go, and now the Cowboy faithful inside the T-Mobile Center are on their feet.
Smith again. I might run out there and give him a kiss, man.
France putting him on the all-tournament team already. It's Wednesday night.
He's got my vote, man. Oh, I wish I had this guy in a oh man, if we had a fantasy draft, I would love to have this guy. Look at this effort by Tyreek Smith.
He's our Phillips 66 player of the game.
How many points does he have?
7.
That's okay.
Yeah.
14 rebounds.
Listen, Tyreek Smith averages 4.8 points a game, so he's almost doubled his scoring total.
Yeah. Terrific. Just love that effort. Rich, it's been a fun year.
It has been, my friend.
I've enjoyed traveling the Big 12 circuit with you, and we've had some laughs. We've had some good meals.
And a lot of good basketball.
We've had a lot of good basketball. A lot of great people in this league. And I'll carry on without you the rest of the week, but always fun to work with you. And I know how much passion you have for college hoops.
You'll be joined by Boog Shambi for the morning session tomorrow, and then the semifinals as well.
Yep. And then
Chris Patola will join me for the evening session tomorrow night.
Mr. Vital will be here Saturday night. That's an over and back.
Yep.
Dickie V will come in and do the final. He will add a little pizzazz.
Well, it's hard to keep track of whose collegiate career is coming to an end because of the COVID years and things like that. You never know. The Groves brothers could be back.
Tanner's done. Jacob can come back. Jalen Hill can come back.
And there's Tanner.
Yep. He's had a good 2 years. He's loved every minute, he said. You know, and a great family too.
Yep. You know. Double-double tonight for Tanner Groves.
A big basketball family in Spokane where they grew up. Neither one of them was heavily recruited.
And you can see now it's a fait accompli at this point, and Tanner Groves is just trying to soak in every moment.
It's hard. It's hard when you know your college career is coming to an end. He'll play basketball professionally somewhere. And for the Cowboys, they'll see the Texas Longhorns tomorrow. Congratulations to Rodney Terry, who today was named the Sporting News National Coach of the Year. Of course, Jerome Tang was the Coach of the Year in the Big 12.
15 for Caleb Asbury. And again, tomorrow night, Oklahoma State will be playing with house money. Joe Lunardi says they are in with this win tonight, and certainly a loss to a top 10 team like Texas would not hurt their chances.
There goes Cisse again. That's been the story of the game, the inability to score in the paint.
No motivational speech is necessary for Mike Boynton before this one. His team knew what the stakes were and what lies ahead for them if they would have lost this game. They will complete a Bedlam sweep of the Sooners.
That's right. He will be 9-5 all time in Bedlam games.
And how about this number? A win tonight and he improves to 18-7 in the month of March. Remember, they went to the NCAA tournament a few years ago, went to the Big 12 tournament finals against Texas in Shaka Smart's last year with the Longhorns. Look at the scratches on Tanner Groves' shoulder and back.
Yep.
That's what playing in this league does to you.
Best thing about watching Moussa Cisse is he plays with joy. He really does. And good young man to talk to. Christ the King in New York, where he played with Kofi Coburn. Then he went over to Patrick School, where he played, St. Benedict's, excuse me, where he played with Precious Achua, now in the NBA. That's a good feeling over there in that bench.
Yeah, Bryce Thompson checking out, and now Mike Boynton emptying his bench. Carson Sager getting ready to come on. Brooks Manzer as well.
Manzer, that's a famous name in Stillwater.
Yeah, our colleague Brendan carrying on the Pokes legacy. Number 35, Weston Church. Number 12, Naz Brown. All on the floor for the Cowboys. 40 seconds to go until a berth in the quarterfinals, and more importantly, according to Joe Lenardi, a berth in the NCAA tournament.
Well, Naz Brown is not going to have a club trillion because he just fouled somebody, so. But that's okay, Naz.
Tell everybody what a club trillion is, please.
When you play 1 minute, you have zeros right across the board. So he'll have one foul, but he'll have a trillion and one.
And Tanner Groves checks out for the final time. A lot of hugs for number 35.
Bernard Kuma is in the game, the young man who's gotten some playing time through the years.
Yeah. Now 4-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock, so Oklahoma State can't dribble it out just yet. The Cowboys will improve to 18-14 on the year. And they have now won 7 of the last 8 against their in-state rival, the Oklahoma Sooners. And coming up on this game, Caleb Boone had what was potentially bulletin board material for the Sooners. He said playing against Oklahoma in Bedlam is like a little brother playing against a big brother. And he backed it up tonight.
Well, that might be also why he's not starting right now. But he's had some monster games this year.
Yeah.
He's another guy that plays with a smile.
Whatever the reasons.
Oh, yeah.
Mike Boynton dialed up the right combination in their regular season finale and tonight as well, as Tanner Groves is just letting the emotions come out. And it's academic now, 57-49, a low-scoring game, and the Oklahoma State defense keeps the Oklahoma Sooners under wraps as Mike Boynton and the Cowboys will advance to the quarterfinals in the Big 12 championship. And if you buy into bracketology, they are in the NCAA field. So our quarterfinals are set. It'll start off tomorrow at 12:30 Eastern, Baylor and Iowa State, followed by Kansas and West Virginia. And then these Oklahoma State Cowboys will take on the 2-seed Texas Longhorns. And the final game of the quarterfinals